out, and we do see, as you said, the command center being placed down on 22 here by TLO.
Yeah, it's a very, very standard build these days, and it's very, very good. Both these players going for a macro game, and I think if there is any macro map to play on, it's either this or Shakuras.
And this Overlord, Ben, is not looking... I don't know if it's going to get picked off or not. These Marines are looking for it, and it looks like, oh no, IdrA.
Little Jim and John. They run right past, and they do turn around and they are going to take out that Overlord, which, you know, IdrA's going to be biting his bottom lip about that one.
Yeah, and that's especially after losing the first game, coming into the second game, which he needs to win, being a best of 3, does not want to lose an Overlord in this situation. And he does have the extra 2 in production. We do see 3 barracks follow up from TLO. And there's been a lot of different styles from Terran players recently where they can continue into 3, 5 racks and then start to add on the starport and so on. Or you can actually completely switch over into mech from this situation. So we'll have to see how TLO decides to play. And the same for IdrA. Does IdrA go for a Baneling Nest and try an infamous bust? Or does he go for his macro preferred style?
Well, at the moment, IdrA's only producing drones. So I think it's pretty safe to put him on the macro road, whereas TLO, I don't even think even he knows where he's really heading this game. But thankfully, I've seen a few of his games recently, and he is a big fan of just piling out a ton of Marines with the assistance of tanks and Hellions.
Yeah, and we'll have to see how he does do that. We do have Stim being researched now. Tech Lab being added on for the first 100 gas to be thrown down into the research of Stim. We do have the bunker being put down. And do we see anything from IdrA really to know? We do see the layer being going down, another gas being put down. That's kind of interesting because he kind of knows, IdrA knows about this expansion, and usually we like to see a third base come from that, but we do see a layer go down and a Baneling Nest. And he's not going for this early third base, which is just an option that a lot of Zerg players like to take.
Well, you see, against any normal Terran, you could get away with a third base because, yeah, you pretty much can expect what's coming. But that's the thing about TLO. Nobody can predict him, and you have to play a bit more cautious against him, which I think for IdrA, given that he's so set in his pattern of what he's going to do in a game, it throws him off a little bit.
Indeed, but what does IdrA do? Still no third base. Is he going to go for maybe a Baneling speed kind of good economy attack and try to use the Banelings with speed to try and do a lot of damage? TLO actually does have quite a lot of Marines, does have the factory being placed down here and adding on the double refinery on the natural, so very gas-intensive play, and the Spire going down. Not opting to go for the third base first, is going to get the Spire down, and will be wanting to save all of his gas. We do have 130 now for IdrA. We'll want to start to save that up to get as many Mutalisks out as possible.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you really want Zerglings and Banelings to control the map for you. I mean, they are so fast, so vicious as well in the right position. But these Mutas are going to be coming out, and they're going to keep TLO in his base for a lot longer, which means he can get that third base and secure it for a lot longer.
And the second and third factory being added on now, and TLO moving out with a cute little force, just trying to do a little pressure. Now Stim is just about to finish, and at the same time IdrA moving around, doesn't really see too much apart from these 2 factories, doesn't see any kind of units from TLO, and TLO moving up to try to... This is the kind of timing attack from TLO that is to try to force a cancel or to kill the third base. And as you can see,
he is going to see the drone going over to the third base, but IdrA actually made the smart move by not expanding too early. But these Stim Marines are going to do a lot of damage.
And especially because there's no Mutalisks
in the drone line.
All. 2 Banelings though, are they going to get picked off? Oh, a lot of Marines do go down. But are there enough Lings here for IdrA to deal with this? Another Banelings come in.
Enough Banelings.
Oh!
Yeah, very good play by IdrA and TLO. TLO, even though he lost all those Marines, he stopped mining for a decent length of time, stopped the third expo, and managed to kill a few drones, so pretty successful by TLO.
And 7 Mutalisks are in production. The armory just about to finish. We don't actually have an engineering bay finished yet, just as you can see here, just halfway done. And we'll be wanting to defend against these Mutalisks. And now this is the time where IdrA needs to take a lot of the map, because there's a large timing window for him to expand. He's going to have complete map control with Lings, Banelings, and with the Mutalisks too. And especially because we're seeing this kind of Marine mech play come into fashion, that, you know, he's not going to be able to move around the map, going to be very mobile. A lot of Hellions moving out though, and
they are scouted by the Mutalisks though, which is really unfortunate for TLO. He's going to have to stay back in his base, and this is really what Mutas are good at. If you get a group of 7 or 8, you can take out Marines or SCVs in one shot. You don't really want to mass them, you just want them to delay your Terran opponent and keep him in his base. But TLO is playing really, really careful and really, really smart this game. putting up 2 turrets at each base. Oh, not at his expo, excuse me. But yeah, he doesn't really need them right now.
Well, he has 3 Thors in production, +1 attack for the Thors and for the Marines in production too, as well as the combat shields. We do have bailing speed starting now with the +1 melee and the +1 carapace for the Mulus. Actually, it was kind of an interesting option. A lot of players do prefer to go for the +1 attack. IdrA decides to go for +1 carapace, moving in here, trying to do a little bit of damage. Though IdrA's not doing enough damage with these at all. I mean, he's doing a little bit of harassment, but not doing any critical damage that could change the game in his favor.
Yeah, if he could do damage, that would really pull him a little bit ahead. Right now, he's just trying to buy time for his 3rd expo to get running, or 3rd base to get running. And TLO does now have 3 Thors, a lot of Marines with Stim, and some Hellions. I mean, he's looking really solid right now.
He doesn't have blue flame for these Hellions, so that's going to be in favor for IdrA, but he's got to be careful not to lose these Hellions to these Mulus, but, you know, 3 Thors, upgraded Thors, because TLO has the cool version of StarCraft 2. And all these Marines here, though, this push, I don't think it's wise to go out, actually, because he doesn't really know what IdrA has, how many units he has, and if TLO moves out onto creep and loses everything, that could cost him this game.
Right, I just want to say that was like the smartest move of the game, though. I mean, he pushed forward halfway across the map to that 3rd base. You know, normally you can think, wow, if he pushes any further, he could actually get rolled right now. But IdrA produced 30 Zerglings and was producing Mutas as well. He was really preparing for a fight right then. Whereas TLO just moved back. I mean, all those larvae could have been used on drones, so a really, really smart play by TLO.
We look at the drone count now, 61 and 59, very close. And this 3rd base is nowhere near saturated, using the drones for gas and Imco the Mulus to try to do some damage, and the Thors and Marines are out of position. IdrA could do a lot of damage here, but is TLO going to turn around or just go straight for IdrA's gut?
I think TLO has a one-way mind right now. He is just going straight to IdrA's 3rd. And IdrA does actually have a lot of Banelings, Lings, and such to take this out, but oh, IdrA's actually playing so smart here. He is delaying TLO so much, and this 3rd base is actually getting running.
Yeah, 3rd base is running. The 4th base has been put down. Lovely Overlord here, spreading the creep to deny that expo, even just by a few seconds. I mean, TLO's been on 2 base for a long time, playing very defensive with these structures and units. And he will have to force the Overlord to move out. Mulus are moving around, trying to do some damage. Are they going to come in here? Might be able to pick off an SCV here, but aside from that, I mean, he hasn't really done too much damage to TLO.
No, he hasn't, but he's kept him where he wanted him. I mean, both of these players are playing mind games right now. He is doing a little bit of damage now. This is just a nuisance, you know? Although this doesn't really, like, affect the Terran so much, he's making it so he can't get any gas right now, which is actually a pretty big move. And he's only losing a couple of Mutas. He has to run back right now, though, because you don't want to stick around for Thors.
No, not at all. We'll take down this turret also. But yeah, taking down the double refineries, you've got to build them up again. You've got to put the SCVs back in. And when you're going for this Thor-heavy play, then you need every little bit of gas possible. And we probably see TLO's minerals shoot up because of that. I mean, the 3rd base only just going down now because of that. And there are a lot of units out for IdrA now.
Yeah, IdRA's actually looking really comfortable. This is where he's in the zone. When you have to do 10 things at once, he can do that, I'd quite happily say, almost better than anyone. And he's doing just that. He's keeping TLO in his base. He's abusing the slow mobility of his army. I mean, if you have Thors, you're already moving a lot slower than anybody else. But TLO just can't move efficiently. If he does leave his base, these Mutas are going to come and rinse him. If he stays in his base, IdRA's just going to take the map. So IdRA's really playing with TLO's strings right now.
And TLO having enough of his strings to be pulled, and is going to be moving out here with Thor's tanks. Is he going to go out though the way, or will he decide to pull back? I mean, no, he actually is going to go in, but what does IdrA have waiting for him? A lot of Lings, a lot of Banelings, and a lot of Mulus. Will this engagement go well for TLO?
You know, this all depends on the positioning. I mean, last game I thought the Banelings were going to rinse him, but TLO managed to pull off a pretty big win, you know, just killing those Banelings. Oh, fungal growth. And he does land a fungal growth. It's not the best fungal growth, but he has another shot.
Oh, IdrA!
And here we see everything running. And the Marines are microed so well back to the back of the army.
Oh my god, IdRA's actually clearing this up. So many Lings and down to 115 food for TLO. This is the IdrA that I'm sure everybody is here to see, as IdrA wipes the floor with that flawlessly. Oh my god.
It didn't look like TLO could do anything right there. I mean, IdrA just marched on over him. And he doesn't continue to his base, he's just picking off medivacs from that army. But he is now almost twice the supply ahead, and he's comfortably on 4 base right now.
And this is, like Seth just said, this is the IdrA we all wanted to see. The dominant IdrA that was playing in the GSL Code S here in Sweden. Now coming to do damage to these refineries here and picking off them once again. And 176 food versus 115 of TLO. 77 drones versus 67 now. The Hive has completed Corruptors and the Greater Spy in production now, as well as the adrenal glands for these Zerglings is being researched. Really, really good position for IdrA right now.
It's an insane position for IdrA right now, and this is a lesson to TLO for laughing at him. I mean, it's one thing to take a win. Like, you can take a win graciously, but he entered this second map in the lobby and just typed, haha. I mean, IdrA must have been pretty ticked off about that, and he is showing TLO that, yeah, you're not going to cheese me again or walk over me anytime soon.
And the nice drop here by TLO is going to try to deny this expansion, and looks like he will be able to. There aren't too many units close, and with the upgrades of these +2 Marines, should be able to take it down. Actually, or will he decide to go for it? The Lings are coming in. He should be able to keep it alive, though. It's going to be very tight.
And the Mutas are actually heading over if the Lings don't do the deal. So this medevac, he thinks he's got away safely, or he's just going to play with IdrA by doing little drops. Unfortunately, he pressed D on his medevac and kept unloading and lost quite a few Marines there, but yeah, the Mutas came in and swept everything up.
And 2 Broodlords are in production. Oh, actually, no, wait, sorry. There are 5 out now, 2 in production to follow that, and that is a lot. Does TLO have the forces to deal with this? He does have +2 mech units, +2 Marines, but the force of TLO is just not there. 155 versus IdrA's monstrous Zerg.
Yeah, and the clear counter to Broodlords is Vikings, but TLO's got a lifted up starport with a reactor under it, and he's not been using it for the last minute, so he's really going to be in a world of pain. And this is 5 Broodlords knocking at his door, going to be backed up by 2 more, and a huge Ling Muta army.
And I don't know, TLO's going to be forced to engage here, and I don't know, there's a lot of Lings, Infestors, Broodlords, Mulis waiting for him. TLO needs to get a good position to try and combat IdrA, but IdrA looking so dominant. Yeah,
and I mean, you can't siege up against Broodlords because you shoot yourself. A brilliant fungal growth by IdrA, making all those Marines go down to 3 HP, and here we go.
Oh, IdrA doesn't even need to get excited. Takes the game off TLO. And Benjamin to Muslim Baker, we're going to a 3rd game.
We've got a real fight on our hands, Sean Apollo. And I'm looking forward to every minute of it. I mean, both these guys have got a lot of pride on the line right now. They both said they were going to win quite comfortably, and it's now a 1-1 situation, something that neither of them expected.
And the thing is, like, when Terran pushes out like that, that push is designed to critically hurt you, or at least kill you, or something like that. But no, IdrA says no. Completely wipes the floor. And from that situation, it's so hard for Terran to come back. They're so far behind. IdrA can take the entire map, and it is very difficult for any Terran in that situation, even if you have the skill caliber of TLO.
And yeah, IdrA is really in his comfort zone that game. I mean, if you let him go to the late game, you don't anger the beast before the game by saying,
oh, no, man.
You know, and then go to a late game. It's like, you insult him and then fight him on his own backyard, you know? Like, if there's a macro game to be played, IdrA's going to be the first one to jump in and say, hey, I'm ready for you. And both players are actually looking ready, Sean.
All right, so final game of this series is going to be on Crevasse, actually. This is going to be an interesting map for both of these players to see who can pull it out. So I'd just like to say, do we have any IdrA fans in the house? Do we have any TLO fans, though? A little bit in favor of TLO. A little bit in favor, but you're good to start the game. The countdown has begun on this final map of this series.
And I must apologize beforehand, Crevasse. I have actually never seen this map before, so
it's okay, man. You've been out for 5 weeks. It's okay.
Like 10, man, but yeah. So, TLO spawning on the bottom right of Crevasse, and IdrA spawning as the red Zerg at the bottom left.
Alright, so people like the Muslim that haven't really played this map too much, we can have a look here, and already in the Zerg base, you can see that there's this mineral expansion just with 1 gas though, so you kind of have the option, do you go for this, or you can move down the front of your main ramp, and there is an expansion here with a double geyser, which is probably, the most Zergs prefer to go for this to get the double geysers, obviously very important, but you are expanding towards TLO, who is in the bottom right hand side here. And we'll have to see, does Terran or TLO decide to go for an early expansion, which is very viable on this map because it is locked away inside your own base.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of options for both of these players on any map when it comes to expands in the back of your base. Like, the only map, or the only situation I can think of that's pretty similar to this is Delta Quadrant, where you start off with a base in the back of yours, but it's got rocks guarding the way, and that's always a situation like, do I go for this? Then I just have to defend my main and my natural through one choke. I mean, there's a lot of choices, but this one, you're actually only with one gas, which, as a Zerg player, you need as much gas as you can get, so I don't think either players are going to be going for that back expo anytime soon, or at least not within the first 5-10 minutes, maybe later on when you're really, because it's usually your third base that gets taken down. That's the real timing attack window. Although,
IdrA's going for this
prove me wrong.
And is satisfied with just having the one geyser there.
Yeah,
and,
he is.
I mean, like, the majority of Zerg players do like to go for this one down here just because of the double geyser, but IdrA's saying, nope, that's cool with me.
And TLO is actually doing exactly the same with a 14cc. So we are going to see another macro game, it looks like, which, you know,
the best
I'm very
style,
happy about.
The best style of game.
Exactly.
And we'll have to see, how does TLO transition into the later stages of this game? Will he go for that style? The thing with that style he went with is that he got upgrades for both infantry and Thors. Well, not just Thors, but the mech units as well. Do you think that he's actually overcompensating? Because there's a lot of resources to go for both, but he's not really getting great upgrades for both, rather just having kind of okay for both of them.
Well, yeah, you are right. With what you lack in upgrades, because neither one of your unit or set pieces are as optimal as they can be. If you go for one or the other, as in if you go just pure bio with mass upgrades, you are so susceptible to Baneling fungal growth, you know. So mixing in that mech as well, just getting a few upgrades on that. If you go pure mech, you are so immobile, so mutas can annihilate you, or broodlords, anything like that that can get around the map and just fly, or even drops. So going both, and although not like getting the most out of the units with optimal upgrades, I think it is actually the wise choice, as it's safer against all these crazy plays that Zerg can do.
And both players scouting out each other perfectly, seeing the expansion up here for IdrA, and over here for TLO. IdrA does scout the expansion, has been put down there, as well as the refinery. We do have double barracks out now, pumping a few Marines out, as well as the Zerglings chasing away this SCV in the middle of the map, and speed now being researched for IdrA, keeping the guys on gas, and that's going to be very important. Usually we see players take off on the extractor to try and maximize the amount of minerals and drones they can get out, but because of this base IdrA's taken, he's going to desperately need as much gas as possible.
A lot of that is also to stop any kind of rushes when you take the guys off gas to get more Zerglings out or spine crawlers, anything like that. And he's not too worried about a rush coming anytime soon, I imagine. Although it is TLO, it's a big risk to take against a player like him. But both players look like they're playing pretty safe right now. They've both got expos in the back of their bases, and both just going to work on solid defense and getting up their economy.
And IdrA getting 2 lings in, scouts a lot, you know, continuing with this scouting. Might be able to pick off this mule. I mean, the Zergling's got high dreams. I'm not sure if it will complete, but it doesn't.
That little Marine had fun.
He did. One little Zergling pecking away at that mule. And now the geyser has been taken here, but we don't have a second one. The layer has gone up for IdrA, questioning what he's planning on doing. Does he want to be aggressive? Does he want to go for the Spire?
I actually think I know exactly what IdrA is going to go for here. So he's making a lair. He's going to be going for fast Baneling Ling drops in the back of TLO's base or somewhere. And I mean, that can do a lot of damage. TLO is not really going to have enough tanks or anything at this time to stop that. And although it is a risky play by IdrA, you can see the sense behind it, because even if you get 4 Banelings within the walls of TLO's base, if they explode in the right places, they're going to do a hell of a lot of damage.
We'll have to see if he does decide to upgrade the ventral sacks. We'll keep a close eye on that. Baneling Nest just about to finish. The Spire going down, though, for IdrA, so...
Yeah, it's not what I said.
I don't know. You're a Terran player.
I know. I just know what would work against me, and that would be it.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine, though, like, if this Overlord here, for example, you know, had the upgrade and Banelings inside and came over here, especially if IdrA put pressure on TLO from the front and just distracted him for a few minutes, or seconds, really.
Yeah, I mean, look how vulnerable that expansion is. I mean, it's got 6 mineral patches and 1 gas, but you can get in there and then run into the main base so easily. So we see TLO going for a pretty similar build to what he did last game. There are 3 factories out. He's going a lot of Hellions. He's got a lot of Marines out, and he's going to be going for a little push here.
Well, will this be a push or will it be a fake push, though, like we saw in the previous game, where he'll move out halfway through the map, force IdrA to make nothing but aggressive units?
He's going to actually try and do as much damage as he can at this point. I mean, yeah, he has to. He's going to be going all the way. Even if he loses all these Marines, he's going to be making 4s by the time he does. So this is a pretty solid play by TLO. Although you can lose a lot in the process, it's very worth it. But we do have a lot of Banelings on the way, and Baneling's speed is halfway done. So he could be walking into a real booby trap right now.
We'll have to see. Moves up into this area. Spinecrawl almost done. A lot of links here, though. Does decide to pull back. Banelings have finished, though. Speed not done. And does TLO decide to go into this trap, or will he pull out? It looks like he is going to move out from here. And IdrA putting down the third base in the top left, which is pretty good, actually pretty smart, because all the standard third bases, you could say, I mean, this one here and also this one here, just not very viable, and they're so close towards the Terran player, and a lot of these mid-game pushes are just going to be a lot more, harder to deal with than the one in the top left.
Not just that, but a lot of these bases are lacking mineral fields. I mean, that base only has 5, and IdrA is actually going to harass TLO in this very vulnerable back expo in the back of his base, and TLO is going to be kept in his base for a short while.
Well, there is no engineering bay or no turrets or anything, so actually IdrA could come in and do a lot of damage here. SCV's already gone down. TLO trying to repair them. He does lose a 2 or 3 here.
Yeah, it wasn't so big, but IdrA, he's kind of playing with TLO a little bit. And yeah, that was a worthy harass. Although he didn't get much done, he got to scout. He now knows that a third base isn't up for TLO just yet, although it is being produced. So yeah, IdrA is actually playing pretty well here. He's just scouting everything with these 3 mutas. I mean, if you go mutas, you don't necessarily need to make a lot. You just need to scout, keep your opponent on his toes, and yeah, he's doing what he can with them.
And IdrA did scout the third base of TLO in construction, and now he's transferring drones up here to start mining from these guys just to get as many Mulis and Banelings out as possible. Possibly coming in here for a little bit of harassment, though. Marines are waiting, and now the engineering bay just starting now. And turret's quite a long way away, but he does have a lot of Marines and Thors inside his base to warrant enough defense. Bunkers going down, and this third base is going to be taken shortly by TLO. And this is kind of the time where IdrA will be looking to get a 4th, because you don't want to be 3 versus 3 bases versus a competent Terran player like TLO.
Yeah, and while that rule was really important in Brood War, it's even more important in StarCraft 2, I believe, due to the mules. I mean, once full saturation is made, and we do see a few hits on the Mutalisk, but yeah, no real damage done. But TLO is taking that time to set up his third base, and he's got a lot of Thors there to counter the air and a planetary fortress going up. He's looking pretty safe.
So we have 4 Thors in total, 5 actually, 1 at the back of the base, helping guard this kind of key location, as you mentioned before. Mulis can come in, a lot of dead space where they can pull out as well. And picking off the mule here, doesn't want to take too many. Actually, that was a very big hit, actually, looking at the health tabs of the Mulis. A lot are down into the orange health. IdrA now taking a 4th base and really pumping out a lot of units, though TLO does have the supply lead at the moment, is 140 versus 125. And with the drones, 63 versus 60, but with mules as well, as you mentioned, I think the economy is slightly in favor of TLO here.
Yeah, I mean, if you are on equal bases, as long as you have the mules, you can think of a mule as an extra 5 workers on average. So yeah, he's technically got 75 workers going, so he is ahead. And these Thors, they just popped a Mutalisk out of the sky very, very easily. So IdrA's going to have to be more careful than ever. And TLO, he's actually not going for a massive bio ball this time, or anything similar. He's just going hardcore mech with a few Marines to assist.
And getting the Infernal Preigniter for the Hellions as well. Key upgrade, especially fighting against a lot of Lings and Banelings. And now it looks like TLO is moving out here. And these Hellions not going to be so good without the upgrade. And
but IdrA is moving into the expo of TLO, and he is annihilating absolutely everything down there. But he does see this big push from TLO coming, and he is going to have to act pretty fast.
And TLO's got to be careful not to get caught off guard like he did in the previous game and get a huge surround from IdrA. Scan kind of sees, but doesn't really see too much. And it looks like he might be moving back, waiting for the Preigniter to finish, waiting for the +2 mech units to finish also.
Yeah, this Hellion actually is scouting a lot right now. I mean, he scouted IdrA's 4th base quite handily. The Muta's going to come and finish him off, but TLO knows that on 3 base, he's going to have to act fast, because even though you are a Terran and you are earning a lot more minerals with the mules, you also mine your bases out faster. So the longer this game goes on for, the worse it's going to look for TLO.
And it looks like this is the engagement we've all been waiting for. In comes IdrA with a lot of links, but the Preigniter Hellion's doing a lot of damage. The Mutalisk, though,
Wow,
oh
look
my
at these
god.
Banelings. The Banelings are hunting the Hellions. This is really, really smart play. And wow, IdrA dealt with that absolutely fantastically. TLO is still trying to hold on, but IdrA's got so many Lings here dealing with the Thors, and both of these players suffered considerable losses.
Yeah, and you can see that by the food count. 126 for IdrA, 104 for TLO. And Mutalisk coming into the back of the base again. IdrA consistently putting pressure on TLO, taking down SCVs. We look at it now, 75 drones versus 65 for TLO, and 130 food versus 102 in favor of IdrA. And now he's got this fourth base, and he's getting the gas from it also, and it's looking pretty good.
It's looking very good for IdrA. TLO's missing gas on his third expo as well in the refinery. I'm not sure if that's a bit of a mistake or if he meant to do that. But yeah, IdrA's in his comfort zone now. He held off the big Terran push, which, you know, Terran, they don't really keep on throwing waves at you if you're a mech player. You have one big ball. It's almost Goody style, you know. You wait until you can go, until you can mine no more if you were Goody. And yeah, these Hellions are also taking considerable hits from these mutants.
I know, IdrA gets another Hellion down. Mutalisk doing so much damage, but TLO's stuck on 3 bases. Does have a 4th command center in production, but again, Mutalisk coming in. They actually could go for a magic box here and get rid of this Thor, and this Thor is going to go down. SCV's trying to repair it, but nice snipe by IdrA. Will want to move out now, doesn't want to take too many hits, but doing a lot of damage, and basically TLO's on 2 bases, you could say, because this base here is almost never mining because IdrA is always there.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we pointed out early on in the game. This back base is so vulnerable to air attack, which is why I thought a Baneling drop would have worked or a Zergling drop. And IdrA's making so much use of it. I don't really know why TLO never put up the turrets that he really needed. But he's really going to be kicking himself about that choice.
I mean, yeah, a couple of turrets here instead of these Thors, it'd work out a lot. Then Thors could be in the action. He's going to try and move down and get this 4th base, but IdrA already waiting for it. Picks off the SCV here. A lot of Lings and Banelings here waiting for TLO.
Those 4 shots, yeah, you can see that. He killed 1 muter and got 4 muters down to red. That was pretty unlucky that he didn't kill them, actually. But we now have 121 Zerglings on the field. That's a hell of a lot.
That is a lot, actually, and the Hive has finished. Great Aspire in production, along with a few Infestors, and now TLO just playing the waiting game, trying to get this expansion up, trying to remax back to where he needs to be to take on IdrA's army, and IdrA playing the Swarm perfectly, so many units, has a lot of minerals saved up to remax a lot with Zerglings, and it's going to be quite hard for TLO. But then again, if this Planetary Fortress gets up, then it's going to be in a comfortable position for TLO.
You could say that, but you know, IdrA's just kind of playing around here. He's got 6 Corruptors on the way and a Great Aspire.
Oh, these Hellions!
Wow, all those Hellions just... Oh, he did pretty okay, actually. But yeah, this Hive's actually going up already. The Great Aspire's going up. TLO's having to make an army to deal with these Zerglings and Muters, but he doesn't have the resources to deal with the Broodlords that are next to come. So yeah. IdrA's in a really, really, really comfortable position right now.
I mean, where's the starport? He actually transitioning to 2 starports with reactors, anticipating
that
this.
Is smart play by TLO. He is going to grind this out. He really doesn't want to get knocked out. I mean, yeah.
But will he be able to get enough Vikings out? We already have 5 Broodlords almost finished. More Corruptors are in the making. And
wow,
a lot of Zerglings go down by these Hellions, taking a lot of hits here. But as you can see, the Broodlords are here, almost finished, and will start to rain down damage here. And does TLO have enough time to get these Vikings out?
I think he will, you know. I mean, even if he doesn't, these Thors can shoot air. They're not very good against Broodlords specifically, but they do their thing. And these tanks are going to be shooting his own SCVs right now. He just has to hold on until he gets a few Vikings out, and then he has to play the game where he hits and runs. But IdrA's ready for it. He's got 2 Infestors here with enough fungal growths to keep them in place and use his mutants to take them out. So, yeah. It's not looking great for TLO right now, I'm afraid.
Especially if he loses this base, trying to keep it alive with SCVs. In come the Vikings, only 3 so far. Like you said, has to be careful with the fungal growth. Infestors trying to move in there. And now TLO being forced, almost being submitted into being forced to move out here. And this could be the vital moment, Ben.
It is a vital moment right now. And wow, IdrA's actually moving in with these mutants to take out these Vikings. He loses a lot, but he's got so many minerals and so many base. Look at how many bases he has. He is on 6 base right now. It doesn't really matter if he loses this fight. He can just pump out units from the whole map.
And that's the thing though, TLO is basically quickly go back here, almost mined out, this one almost mined out, the same for this one here. So this is really the only kind of base TLO has left. Broodlord's doing so much damage, and he's just reinforcing consistently here.
Yeah, and I mean, even if TLO does survive to kill these Vikings, he's going to have to deal with the rest of IdrA's army, and he can switch in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, and it's not looking good for TLO at all. Down at 140 food versus 185. IdrA patiently waiting with so many units here.
There's a lot of Vikings out now, and I think he might have overdone it. I mean, he made 4 starports to deal with this Broodlord threat, but, you know, IdrA's a smart guy. He's just thinking, hey, you're actually making too many Vikings now. This is almost like PVZ. You make so many Colossus, and then you make so many Corruptors to kill them, but then they're useless. This is exactly what's going to be happening for TLO, but a reverse role. And then IdrA's making an Ultralisk Cavern, so we're going to be seeing a pretty interesting game here involving almost every Zerg unit, if not every.
We're losing Infestors, 2 siege tanks here. TLO holding on to this base just about. Corruptors doing a lot of damage to these Vikings, and the Viking count is slowly going down here.
Yeah, it is. And there's a lot more Corruptors being made, so he's actually going to kill the Vikings, which... yeah, I'd have actually left them alive, as I said, but yeah, IdrA's, he's really rolling right now. His income, he's got 1,300 gas per minute. That is so much.
It is indeed, but TLO trying to hold on to his tournament life. If he does lose this crucial position on the map, he'll lose the game and then be knocked out of the tournament. Not where he wants to be, especially the way he treated IdrA after the first game with that cheeky smile. Yeah. And now he's trying to move out, trying to do a lot of damage, but a lot of Corruptors, Amulets here doing damage, and slowly but surely TLO's army's melting away, but actually the food count is kind of equal.
Yeah, oh, and now we see all the Zerglings moving in, and there is a planetary fortress there, which, as everybody knows, that is going to rack up a serious amount of kills. It's got 80 kills, guys. 80 kills right now.
83 kills from this planetary fortress, which is pretty incredible. And somehow TLO staying in this game, and IdrA has to just choke him, just keep him there. Do not let TLO expand again, and slowly you should be able to win this game. But TLO playing fantastically to keep in this.
Yeah, but the real threat is soon to come. We have 5 Ultralisks on the way, 2 more Broodlords, 2 Corruptors, an Infestor. He can just stack out a full tier 3 army, and he's still piling on the pressure. TLO really needs to unsiege his tanks though, because these Broodlords themselves, they're not doing a lot of damage to that planetary fortress. It's the tanks killing the Broodlords that are killing his planetary fortress.
IdrA really showing his StarCraft 1 strength here. Bases everywhere, mining gas on the entire map. And now Infestor's moving in. That's not good. That's not good.
Ooh, a big fungal growth though. And the tanks are actually going to be killing his own units. Yeah, those tanks are actually working against him most of the time right here.
The thing is we have to keep into consideration is TLO's doing a great job defending, but where is his money going to come from in the next few minutes? I mean, he's outmined here. I mean, we turn over here, he's completely gone here. And then this base is almost gone too. This is his only mining base.
It is, and he's still got 85 harvesters, but really nowhere to use them. So half his supply is actually useless. Whereas IdrA, on the other hand, he's got the whole map, but 68 harvesters. I mean, he can just pile out an army. 5 Infestors coming out now, 2 Ultralisks. He can literally just throw units at TLO any second now.
I mean, 2 upgrades on these Zerglings and Ultralisks. And +3 for the tanks. That's going to be really crucial in fighting this. But IdrA deciding, all right, I don't like that position anymore. I've been dealing damage there for a while, and could go into the main base.
TLO actually made a Banshee as well for the top right and actually killed 6 drones. So that was a pretty smart play. I mean, if you can pick out 1 Banshee mid-game and actually kill 6 or 7 workers, it's a bit of a surprise, but it actually works, and it paid off. But fungal growth happening in the middle on all these Vikings, and he's actually kept a group of Vikings clumped with those fungal growths and got them all down to 31 health. That was actually a pretty smart play.
And this could be the winning move from IdrA. Has gone into the main base of TLO. Can TLO defend? Tanks are moving down. A lot of SCVs as well, but can they siege up in time?
The question is, do they want to siege up?
Do they want to, yeah.
I mean, he's going to be killing himself, but also these tanks actually do 34 damage per hit normally to Ultralisks, and he actually does run away. He actually manages to escape these Ultras. They're so slow without creep, and without any fungal growth to keep things stood still, you know, they're not really doing as much as they can do.
And Vikings all around the map trying to do economic damage to IdrA. TLO knowing that, and this base has 1 Spine Coil, should be enough to defend against these very low health Vikings. And at the same time, Ben, we have a huge engagement there.
Wow.
And that's it. IdrA
IdrA, he doesn't even look happy, but I can tell you guys,
that, man.
He's smiling on the inside. He's very happy about that one.
He has definitely got a Cheshire Cat grin inside of that completely clean face as IdrA comes out the booth. Congratulations to IdrA, who takes down TLO 2-1, getting his revenge from last week in MLG, taking out Dario, TLO, and IdrA must be feeling very happy after that win, Ben.
Not only happy, he must feel ecstatic. I mean, TLO actually laughed at him after that first game, and IdrA was just like, I'm going to show you what I really am made of, and he did exactly that.
And you can't provoke the Kraken, man.
You can't
provoke
The Kraken
him.
is something that you don't mess with.